Before we get in the program highlights, time for this week's joke of the week.
What is small, red, and whispers?
One's cherry, strawberry, tiny tomato.
A horseradish, like it's horse.
Oh, it's horseradish. Okay.
But this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Growing garlic. The traditional, typical, most successful method of growing garlic is you plant it in the fall in the northern areas of the United States. It overwinters, gets a number of cold or chill hours, and you harvest it in the spring based on the variety between June and July. There are some techniques in which you can grow garlic in southern warm climates, but we're going to focus on the northern portions as that's where most of our listeners, terrestrial radio stations, are all at. And if you're listening on podcast replay, there are techniques that you can modify in your particular area if you're outside of the northern or central portions of the United States.
Right. So,
there's two different kinds. There's technically three, but two.
Yeah, so one we'll just guess, like, we'll talk about the
yes.
third one, I guess, which is elephant garlic, which is not truly garlic. It's like an onion family.
You grow it like an onion. You plant it in the spring.
But it's not truly garlic.
Right.
It's they're all kind of part of the same family, but it's not truly garlic.
Right. It has a garlic flavor. It is very large and clove and easy to peel and process, but it's not a true garlic in the sense.
No. So something to keep in mind. So then there's hardneck and softneck. Hardneck is the kind that gets scapes. A scape is a seed pod that comes out of the top of the garlic, and the scapes are edible. They have a strong garlic flavor, and they are kind of like a pre-garlic treat.
Right. The elephant garlic is a cultivar or a broad leaf wild leek, essentially, is what it is.
Right. Okay. So there we go. So that's hardneck, softneck, and then hardneck, it is ready to harvest because you get the scapes, and then a couple weeks later it kind of yellows, and then it's ready to harvest. Softneck doesn't have the scapes. Hardneck doesn't store as long. Softneck stores longer.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. I got those two right. Sometimes I mix those two up. And then the softneck, it's ready to harvest because it tips over like an onion.
Right.
Yeah. So there's really no right or wrong answer. If you want hardneck versus softneck, you could.
Hardneck stores longer than softneck. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I said.
And hardneck is a better growing type of garlic for colder climates, for the northern areas.
Yes, it's very hardy. And there's a lot of varieties, and sometimes you can find them at your local farmer's market, or you can find them online to grow. You don't want to typically grow just random garlic you get from the grocery store. A lot of times it has growth inhibitors on it.
It's a generic, weak variety and terrible flavor.
Right. So you want to find a garlic seller.
Correct. Grower. Yeah.
Grower. Whatever.
Jungseed.com has garlic available. You can use coupon code 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com. And we grow a variety of different garlic. Spanish Roja, German Hardy, Purple Glazer, German Hardy, I already said that. There's like 6 varieties we grow, but we don't specifically keep them identified in individual patches. We grow garlic, and we save the largest bulbs, which will contain the largest cloves, which we will plant in the fall. See, we harvested our garlic in early to mid-June. So it is curing. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we are taking those large bulbs, setting them aside, and we will open them up and find the largest cloves and plant them in October. You can plant them at any time as long as you can get them in the ground 2 to 3 inches and allow them to establish roots.
You want to plant them closer to freezing.
Right.
you don't want to plant them now.
You are anytime we've ever planted garlic, we do get some top growth, which is fine.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
That means the roots have established and it's starting to develop some vertical or some above ground growth, and then it will go in dormancy over the winter.
I have a friend who just grew garlic for the first time, and last, I think, December, she was like, they're sprouting. Is that okay? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I thought I did something wrong. And I think I told her that they could sprout, but it's okay. It's kind of freaky though if you're not expecting it, but they're I always say that garlic is stupid easy to grow, and
you don't have to have a garden to grow it.
Yeah. You and I really messed up a few times, and then we figured out what we were doing with help from the garlic guy. But yeah. So you want to make sure that it's okay that it does sprout. Now you can mulch, but you don't need to mulch. If you mulch, don't put like a foot of mulch over your garden. You just want to do like a thin layer, but it's really not necessary. You can just leave it as it is.
Now, we've never grown garlic in a container. We've only grown it in the ground. And if you've got a rose bed or a flower bed along the side of the house, you can grow garlic in the ground. It grows in very poor conditions and does very well. Growing garlic in pots is straightforward procedure that is perfect for people who are lacking space. With the right techniques, you can successfully cultivate homegrown garlic in a container on your patio or balcony. The thing that you want, the asterisk in that, is a 5-gallon bucket or 10-gallon grow bag of soil is, when it gets to 0 degrees outside, it is a solid block. In the ground, yes, it is cold, but the earth warms the soil where 3 or 4 inches below ground is not as cold as the ambient temperature. Because that container is elevated, it is going to absorb all that coldness and doesn't mean it will, but can slow down or tamper with the development of the garlic.
So with that being said, I personally, if I was going to try to grow garlic in a container, I think I would instead find a place to just toss it in the ground.
Corner of the garden, corner of the yard, in a flower bed, somewhere.
So speaking of that, where it's a plant is someplace that you need to know that it's going to take up at least 9 months, if not probably closer to 10 months of real estate.
Basically, October to June, October to July.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Wherever you plant it, it's going to be there for the larger portion of the year, or of a year. And then you want full sun, and you want nice, rich, nutrient-rich, loamy soil. It's a root plant, so it needs looser soil to grow. Root crop. You're
not going to fertilize it in the fall. You're just going to plant it, get it to establish roots, going to go into dormancy. In the spring, it will naturally start growing when the soil is the right condition, temperature, and you can top dress it with compost. That's really the simplistic of fertilizing. We've never fertilized our garlic ever. We've just made sure that there was moisture, and typically in the spring there is plenty of moisture, and you can know when the hardneck garlic is getting close because you're going to harvest the scape. Use that as a dish. Wait 3 to 4 weeks. The lower set of leaves begin to die off, and you can dig it up. You don't want to leave it in the ground because mold can develop, and it can potentially
and even pests possibly.
And soft neck garlic, the tops will fall over and crimp the stem like a bulbing onion would. Now the question is asked: well, can't I plant garlic in the spring? Well, you can. What we have found, we did this. We planted it in the fall, in October, harvested it in spring. We planted it as soon as we could get it in the ground in the spring, and harvested in August, September.
Yeah.
And the spring planting and harvesting in September was half the bulb size as the garlic that was planted in October and harvested in June. The garlic needs to have a certain number of cold hours to properly develop, to properly bulb or divide its bulb in order to have multiple bulbs or multiple cloves inside the bulb. So it is best to plant it in the fall and harvest it in the spring. In addition to doing that procedure, that time frame, it allows you to do one less thing in the spring, because in spring it's like, it's cold. Oh, it's warm. We should have done something 2 weeks ago, and you're trying to get everything done.
Yeah. So you want to just keep that in mind.
Reputable garlic dealer, grower,
seller. whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, and you don't want to buy store-bought. Now, if you have a friend who has a lot of garlic, you can ask them for some bulbs to order to plant. Now, you can plant a small clove from the bulb. You're just not going to get the larger bulbs that you may expect. A large clove will increase the...
Or maybe you have a coworker. I gave a couple of my coworkers garlic to grow, and they still tell me, and this was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they say, oh, we're still growing this garlic. We do exactly what you said.
There's nothing wrong with replanting.
Yeah.
And you're going to get bulbs of garlic based on the variety can have 4, 6, 12 cloves. Now, the larger number of cloves in the bulb is the smaller size clove. So it's not like you're going to have 12 cloves and it's going to be the size of a volleyball. Right. It's going to be, the size of a tennis ball type of diameter.
I should give my boss some garlic.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions in regards to growing garlic, certainly send the questions to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and in the right upper corner, there's a search engine. Just type in growing garlic, where you've got about a dozen plus in-depth how-to plant garlic. And you can pre-soak the cloves in compost tea or water in order to help to jumpstart the germination of the root system, but it's not required. And whenever you plant your cloves in the ground, you're going to pull them apart of the bulb. Do not take the skin off of them like you would prepare a dish. Leave that skin on the clove, as that is a protective mechanism for the clove to allow it to grow and not have issues under the ground. And finally, if you are growing your homegrown garlic for the first time, or you're getting garlic that was grown and not store-bought, use about a quarter of what the recipe calls for, because it is very rich in flavor and it will overwhelm your palate. If you just go, oh, it needs 2 cloves, boom, 2 cloves, you're going to be swimming in garlic flavor. So you want to work up to it. It's great, and you have to use less, but it's well worth it.
All right, so we are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatjuststicks.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. They even have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off of orders of $50 or more, and that's at waltonsinc.com.